afternoon. We are sharing our devotional for today. And so I wanted to share a devotional from Monday. It is one that I get from the United Church of Christ that I thought was appropriate. And it is from an individual by the name of Quinn Caldwell. Quinn is a preacher in upstate New York, and his most recent writings and books is a series of daily reflections for Advent and Christmas called All I Really Want, Readings for a Modern Christmas. And so Quinn uses Micah chapter 7 verses 5 and 6, and those verses are this: Put no trust in a friend, have no confidence in a loved one. For the son treats the father with contempt, and the daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Quinn writes this: Yikes! Alas for Micah, to be alive at a time when direction has become so unmoored from truth that friends no longer trust each other. When truth has become so unmoored from fact that loved ones rise up against each other. Alas for us too. Not that every cause of division is bad. There are good reasons one might sunder oneself from another. Anyone who's left an abusive relationship or stopped talking to a racist or homophobic uncle can tell you that. So it's hard to know fully the reasons for the divided state of things today. Is it because what's right and true is subjective and unknowable? Because someone shadowy is feeding the world misinformation to create discord for nefarious purposes? In a world so divided that nobody agrees on which way is up, what's east and what's west, Micah lands on this: I will look to the Lord. The poles that used to give direction may be shifting. The world may be all subjective postmodernism all the time. But for Christians, there's at least one thing to rely on: the grace and the gospel of God. Of course, that's only about as good as someone lost in the wilderness knowing which way is north. It doesn't tell you where you are, or where you're going, or what's between here and there, or if the people you're with will agree where you ought to go. But it's a whole lot better than nothing. Quinn's prayer is this: when everything is shaky and the world seems directionless, help us look to you, our bright north star. Amen. I like what Quinn writes here. It is time for us to look to God, to look to Christ, to be focused on what we are being called to do. And yes, division is going to happen. We see it through our communities already, with all of the different things going on, all of the weird information that's going out, all of the conflict. But what we do as the people of God is look to Him. Look to God. To find God in places in that division, and to find the ways that God is calling us to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. Micah 6:8 is a perfect example of what we should be doing, and given that the prophet Michael is saying everything will be torn asunder, maybe that's where part of that is that as we seek justice, as we love mercy, and as we walk humbly with God, we end up finding some divisions among ourselves. And so we trust in God's love and in God's grace to show us the way, now and always through Christ. Amen. We'll see you again soon.